June 3 definitely rings a bell. It's been 5 years since the twin fire and flood disaster occurred here in Accra. For many victims, their scars are a constant reminder of the grim experience. But as Evelyn Tengma reports, the very things that contributed to the cause of the disaster continue to take place with careless abandon.
It's a rainy day in Accra, and we are here at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, to be specific, Odona. Now, let me refresh your minds a little. On the 3rd of June, 5 years ago, a rain like this started during the day, and by evening time, there was a twin disaster, flood and fire, which claimed the lives of several people and got many injured. Now, it's been 5 years, and we're asking, what has really changed? Now, because if you look at this Odo drain, at that time, it contributed significantly to the disaster. You can see the drain is almost filled to capacity. If such a rain should start again, we are in the rainy season, what is going to happen? It was labeled the Black Wednesday.
Almost 3
154 people died and hundreds suffered severe burns, resulting in permanent physical disabilities. Reports of the ministerial committee that investigated the disaster at the time attributed the floods to choked gutters which blocked the drainage system, improper planning of settlements, and a few other human factors. The cause of the fire was also attributed to the floods and poor safety practices at fuel stations. But till date, no one has been held accountable for the incident, and the story in the area remains the same. Gutters continue to be choked, blocking the free flow of rainwater. The lower parts of the Odo River, known as Sodom and Gomorrah, continues to be blocked by settlers who had reclaimed substantial portions of the Odo Channel. Chief Executive of the oil marketing companies, managers of the fuel stations, said the June 3 disaster had awoken their thinking in ensuring improved safety as they randomly check up on best practices in the 4,000 fuel stations across the country.
We have a safety week, which this year was the only one we haven't had it because of the corona. They also beef up our training for our people. Now we even complement MPA with our own association auditors. We believe in the state to have investigated, but right now, any incident involving our stuff, we go ahead and investigate.
He lamented till date, the OMCs have no copy of the committee's report.
The main stakeholders, you need to let them know. All that we hear bits and pieces in the papers. I think go forward, for us, advice to the states is that anytime they do any investigation like that, identify the stakeholders, involve them in the investigation, and when you finish your report, you let them know as well.
Engineer Nate Okanse of the Ghana Institution of Engineers is worried governments have no long-term plan for the rains in Ghana.
The basic problem is the lack of planning, where we don't have site plans, where we will develop our planning to meet such things as the contours and other geographic features that are on the land. Urbanization of Accra has increased by 70%. That is concrete areas of Accra. And in less than 5 years, if we continue at the rate we are going, the whole of the catchment of Odo will be filled up with buildings. So we need to put in these measures through policies that will help.
The rains have set in, but Accra drains remain either choked or too small to allow for free flow of water. For many, it appears government authorities only paid lip service as conditions that could result in another disaster looms. Evelyn Tengma, TV3 News, Accra.
We continue to pray for all the victims of the twin disaster and also pray for all the lives that were lost. Now, relatives of victims of the June 3 fire and flood disaster are still reeling from the loss of their loved ones 5 years after the disaster. Emmanuel Gadri in this report tells the story of how a widow and her 6 children are still struggling to survive.
Felicia Barr's life came to a standstill when the June 3 fire and flood disaster struck. Her husband of 16 years, a taxi driver, was involved in the disaster and died, leaving her with 6 children. She was also involved in a car accident. My husband promised to come home on the day of the disaster. After it rained heavily, I didn't hear of him. We went in search of him, only to find his body in a gutter. Life for the widow and her 6 children is now unbearable as they are struggling to survive. Gifty and her 6 children were sacked from her former abode because she couldn't pay rent. She currently resides at Teshi in a single room with her family. Since then, our lives have been unbearable. We've been struggling to survive. When I first saw her, I was touched after hearing her story. Please come to the aid of the family. She now lives on the benevolence of friends and a pastor. 5 years after the twin disaster, Gifty says the compensation given to victims was taken by her husband's relatives. She wants the public to come to her aid to enable her cater for her family.
When I come home, we find it difficult to eat, and also food that how we can live better at home too is a problem. So suffering here. My brother here is Prosper Upon, and he is also in JHS too. But sometimes, not all the days that I go to school, because sometimes he doesn't get even the classes fee to go to school. So please, we need help.
Kwame to be many of